The Pokemon franchise is dying. Ever since the mainline Pokemon games went 3D, the quality of the franchise has been declining. With X and Y, the first mainline Pokemon games in 3D not adding anything new towards the series and really being very bland and unoriginal, not even having a post-game, so when you defeated the Elite Four and became champion, there was no incentive to keep playing. Some people like to make excuses for this game, saying that Game Freak needed to make 700 new 3D models of Pokemon and animate those 700 3D models. But then again, when Black and White came out, they had to redo all of the 650 Pokemon sprites, which were also animated. And that game was still pretty good, so I don't know how valid this excuse is. I mean, 3D models probably take a way longer time to create than sprites, but still. Then we have, of course, remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the second 3D mainline Pokemon games, which also managed to be god-awful. Which was kind of unexpected, seeing as the previous remakes to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, managed to be fucking amazing. Honestly, they managed to take the content of the original games, Gold and Silver, and expand on it, while Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire took the original content of Ruby and Sapphire and cut from it. There is no post-game at all, so when you beat the champion, much like X and Y, there is no initiative to keep playing, because there's nothing else to do. They didn't even include any of the extra content of Pokemon Emerald. It was just a bad game and an even worse remake. Now the next mainline entries in the Pokemon franchise are Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, who did do some interesting things to try and shake up the Pokemon formula by introducing Ultra Beast and their dimension and replacing Pokemon gyms with island challenges. Unfortunately, much like the Mega Evolution of Pokemon X and Y, these changes were immediately discarded and forgotten about by the next installment in the franchise. Also, much like X and Y, Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon did not have a post-game that lasted longer than maybe 30 minutes. So anyway, to sum it all up, ever since Pokemon moved to 3D, there has been no post-game content. The Pokemon designs have been getting worse and worse every generation. Every generation there's new gimmick like Z-moves or Mega Evolution or what was it again? Primal Forms, I believe, in Auras. And then they just immediately get abandoned and forgotten about the second the next mainline game comes out. The games have become more and more easy, which is really saying something because the games already were incredibly easy. On top of that, the game's stories have been really declining. I feel like they hit a peak at Pokemon Black and White 2, and I feel like Sun and Moon was kind of trying to do something with the story, right? But besides that, X and Y, I don't even remember what the story was about. Like, at all, I don't remember shit. I don't even know what the evil team was. Now, even though I had a lot of problems with these games, my overall experience while playing them was pretty good. It's not until the next game in the franchise that made me lose all hope of ever getting a better or even a good Pokemon game again. See, the next game in the franchise after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was supposed to come out on the Nintendo Switch, which meant it was going to be the first Pokemon game, mainline Pokemon game on a console, right? So, you know, there were a lot of expectations and like hopes that came with like a new mainline title being on a way more powerful system than the 3DS, like the world being bigger and a lot of these issues that the 3DS games had being fixed. Something that I personally hope was that the issues that came with Pokemon being in 3D would be fixed, like things like trainers just standing in random locations and only being able to face 4 ways doesn't really make much sense in 3D. I'm going to show you a clip from a video by the YouTuber Girim, because I think that his clip explains what I mean perfectly when it comes to problems with Pokemon being in 3D.
Do you know the term the uncanny valley effect? It means that when an object tries to look completely human, the nearer it gets, the creepier and unnatural it becomes. Well, there is a similar effect going on in Pokemon, that the world feels to start more fake as it tries to become more realistic in 3D. Let me elaborate. Here is a map of Pewter City from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. We know that in real life, a city will not have just 5 buildings and it will have roads and cars. We also know that a house in real life is not as small as 18 reds. However, we ignore this because we know that what we're looking through the screen is an abstract version of the Pokemon world. that is supposed to represent the world that could be real. We let our imagination fill in that gap between the screen and our brain, and through our imagination the world feels more alive. Conversely, in the mirror games, Game Freak decided to make a fully 3D rendered world, and questions began to arise. Why do all the houses look the same? Why do all houses have the same exact furniture? Why are there cars on the street when there aren't any roads that cars can drive on? But in a city with no cars, why are there crosswalks and sidewalks? Why are there like only 5 people walking down the street that looks like the real life city of London? Do you see what I mean? If you're still not understanding, hear me out. In a 2D world, it makes sense for a person to look at only 4 directions and turn around instantly when talked to, because there are only 4 directions of the D-pad that a character can move. But in a 3D world with analog sticks, it looks jarring when characters move and turn around like they're still stuck in 2D.
What? You got me as well. Yo! No, did you see that? I was on the right. He was facing up, and he saw me. Yo!
And it's absurd to see people just standing around in the middle of nowhere not doing anything. Every Team Rocket or Plasma Grunt looked exactly the same, but we didn't care because we know these sprites are supposed to be a representation of these people, and we imagine in our brain these individuals look different from one another, sort of like how they do in the anime or mangas. But in a 3D game, it's jarring when there's only one male and one female model for Team Flare, Skull, Yell, and they all exactly look the same.
As you could probably tell by watching Girim's video, they did not fix any of these problems Pokemon has had since it's moved into 3D. The game looks ugly and it basically functions as a HD 3DS game with random people standing in random locations and all houses being the exact same thing. On top of this, it did not at all fix any of the other problems the Pokemon franchise has been having, like it being too easy to complete the game, or the game not having enough content. If anything, it expanded on these ideas, with the game now having no main story whatsoever, no evil team to beat, and there again being no post-game content. You could probably finish the entire game in under 5 hours. I can confidently say that there are no redeeming qualities about Pokemon Sword and Shield whatsoever. It's the first Pokemon games I've played that I thought were bad, but also didn't enjoy at all. Some people might come to the defense of Pokemon Sword and Shield and say, hey, the wild area was at least pretty good. It's not even the best thing about the game, it's probably one of the best things to be introduced to the franchise. I fucking hate the wild area. I've only been in the wild area maybe 3 times in my playthrough, and only because I absolutely had to. The first time I went in there, I explored the entire thing and came to the realization that it's basically just a bunch of small biomes with Pokemon in it and nothing else. It's completely fucking empty, with again, much like the rest of the game, there being 0 fucking content, except for maybe raids, if you like doing raids, which obviously were just made to get people that played Pokemon Go more into the mainline series, but whatever, right? So yeah, after Sword and Shield came out, I 100% lost almost all faith I had in the Pokemon franchise, especially after they put out the Sword and Shield DLC, which was pretty much a way of Game Freak saying to you, hey, you want post-game content? Now you can buy it for 30 bucks. And you know, I bought it and played it, and you know, it still sucks. It's not good. So you know, I've lost all faith in the Pokemon franchise. Pokemon last week announced that they're going to do a Pokemon Direct. I sit down at my computer, ready to shit all over it, hoping to get at least a funny video out of it. And then, turns out, it's actually good. Yeah, I was actually fucking surprised at how happy I was with the Direct. Now first we're going to talk about the more controversial reveal, the Gen 4 remakes, which I think look fantastic. A lot of people don't like the chibi art style, but personally I think that this kind of art style is perfect for remaking top-down pixelated games. Just look at like Link's Awakening. That's another game that was remade that's top-down pixelated with a similar art style that looks amazing as well. I think it looks better than the Pokemon remakes, but that's not the fault of the art style, it's more that the graphics and the lighting in the Pokemon remakes aren't as good as they are in Link's Awakening. Some people don't like the chibi art style because they think it should have been in the style of Sword and Shield, to which I say why? Because first of all, the art style in Sword and Shield absolutely fucking sucks. The game looks awful, right? Secondly, if we were to implement an art style like that, they would have to redesign maps, and probably because a lot of people would want it, have a wild area in the map, which I can't trust Game Freak to make good games anymore, right? So if they were to do that, I'm not guaranteed a good game. At least this way, I am guaranteed to get a good game. Then there are a lot of people that wanted the game to have the Let's Go art style, which I think is fine, honestly. It's a great art style as well. I have no problems with that one. But personally, I don't care if it's this chibi art style or the chibi art style from Let's Go. And then there are people that think that this game should have been remade exactly in the style of Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. As in, it would have been another one of these incredibly casual games where you don't battle Pokemon, you just catch them like you do in Pokemon Go. And to these people, kids, we say, eat shit and die. Yeah, anyway, so the remake is not done in-house, it's done by a company that isn't Creatures Inc. or Game Freak, which I'm kinda happy about because I can't really trust those two companies. And I hope that this time they either add towards the originals or include some like content from Pokemon Platinum into this remake, and they don't just pull an ORAS and start cutting from the original games. And then the game that most people are probably excited for, Pokemon Legend Arceus, which is an open world Pokemon game that actually from its trailer already has shown to solve some of the problems that Pokemon Sword and Shield has. For example, a big controversy with Pokemon Sword and Shield is that the animations sucked, right? The animations were just ported over from the 3DS versions, nothing really changed, right? This game appears to have new animations, right? And it has in-battle animations. So that's already a step in the right direction. But still, you know, it's Game Freak, so they could fuck it up quite easily. Like, they fuck up a lot of things. One of my main concerns with the game that I already have from just watching the trailer is that the open world seems completely fucking empty, besides the one town. So that's kind of a thing. But yeah, anyway, Pokemon might be not dying, you know. I'd wait for these two games to come out, and if they're both good, then I'd say, okay, I give the franchise a second chance. But if these games come out and they're horrible, then the franchise is just dead to me and I'm done. This is the end of the video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, whatever the fuck, do all the things that the algorithm likes. And goodbye.